jump straight back into Acts chapter 10, verse 9. The two household servants and the soldier that waited on Cornelius continually have been sent by Cornelius from Caesarea to Joppa to see the Apostle Peter, as per instructions by the angel. Verse 9, on the morrow, as they went on their journey and drew nigh unto the city, Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. Isn't it beautiful how when something is happening on one side, God is working on the other side. He's preparing to bring it all together. We don't see it all happening in our lives, but God does work. I love the song that says, when we can't see it, He's working. And when we don't feel it, He's working. He never stops working. He plans, and His plans are way ahead. He knows the end from the beginning. And I just love little things like this, where you see the Lord speaking to Peter on one hand and these men coming on horseback to meet up with the Apostle Peter. Praise God. So Peter went up upon the housetop to pray about the 6th hour. Verse 10, and he became very hungry and would have eaten, but while they made ready the food, he fell into a trance. Peter is a guest in the house of Simon the tanner. This is unusual in itself that Peter would choose to stay there. Tanning was not forbidden in the Old Testament. Many items in the Jewish household were made from leather. However, tanners were usually shunned by Jewish society. Most tanners had their dwellings on the outskirts of town and certainly downwind from the general population, because the smell of death around a tanner's workshop would have been absolutely overwhelming, because they're tanning hides. You know what a tanner is. And of course, he is right by the sea, so that salt water is used in the work of tanning. It would appear from his name Simon that this man was a Jew, and also his willingness to host Peter for an extended time shows that he was probably a Christian. Peter, as a guest, goes up onto the flat rooftop to spend some time with the Lord as he awaits the midday meal. It is interesting to note that the Bible tells us that he became hungry, but unfortunately the meal was not ready, and so he had to wait. The Lord used his hunger as he fell into a trance. Peter had been praying and seeking God, no doubt daily, that God would lead him and guide him to his next steps. It seems that Peter saw a vision of some sort. Verse 11 says that he saw the heaven opened, and a certain vessel descending unto him, as it had been a great sheet knit at the four corners and let down to the earth, wherein were all manner of four-footed beasts of the earth, and wild beasts, and creeping things, and fowls of the air, all the things that a good Jew would never even eat. Now remember, Peter's hungry. He is ready to eat. God is using that natural hunger in him to make him think that possibly this is food, but no, he can't eat it because he's a Jew. Verse 13, and there came a voice to him, rise, Peter, kill and eat. But Peter said, not so, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean. I may be hungry, but Lord, if you think I'm going to eat this, think again. Verse 15, that last part wasn't Bible, that was my little insert. Verse 15, and the voice spoke again unto him again the second time, what God hath cleansed, that call not thou common. 16, this was done thrice or three times, and the vessel was received up again into heaven. Verse 17, that we will read in a moment, tells us that Peter doubted in himself what this vision could mean. It was against everything he had ever believed and been taught. Whether he even comprehended that he came from God is unclear. When Peter responds, "Not so, Lord," the word Lord here can also be translated as Sir. Peter had been praying, seeking God. This vision was not what he was expecting, and he did not know what it meant. The Lord allowed the sheet knit at four corners to be let down 3 times because Peter was not buying what the Lord was putting down. That he was just not understanding it. Because verse 17 says, "Now while Peter doubted in himself what this vision which he had seen should mean, behold, the men which were sent from Cornelius had made inquiry for Simon's house and stood before the gate and called and asked whether Simon, which was surnamed Peter, were lodged there." Verse 19, "And while Peter thought on the vision, the Spirit said unto him, Behold, 3 men seek thee." Verse 20, "Arise therefore and get thee down and go with them, doubting nothing, for I have sent them." Oh, to hear the voice of the Spirit now, that is the voice that Peter recognized. That vision, not too clear on that one, but that voice of the Spirit Peter recognized. And the Lord said, "Don't doubt anything. Don't second guess, Peter. Just go." Peter was yet to connect his trance-like vision with the coming of the 3 men. But he realized because the Spirit told him that these 3 men were there to see him. Verse 21, "Then Peter went down to the men which were sent unto him from Cornelius and said, Behold, I am he whom ye seek. What is the cause wherefore ye are come?" Verse 22, "And they said, Cornelius the centurion, a just man, and one that fears God, and of good report among all the nation of the Jews, was warned from God by a holy angel to send for thee into his house and to hear words of thee." Verse 23, "Then called he them in and lodged them. And on the morrow Peter went away with them, and certain brethren from Joppa accompanied him." What an hospitable man Simon the tanner must have been, and how comfortable Peter must have felt staying there. Peter called them in to Simon's house, if you please, and lodged them right there. The remainder of chapter 10 should stir the heart of every non-Jew. This is our story of how God opened the door of salvation to our Gentile world. Praise God. Peter truly is now walking by faith. God has told him, the Spirit has spoken into his heart, go with these men, doubting nothing. Praise God. "And on the morrow," verse 24 says, "after they entered into Caesarea, Cornelius waited for them, and had called together his kinsmen," his family that is, "and near friends." Verse 25, "And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet and worshipped him." Cornelius's reaction to Peter's arrival in his home shows us a little of the kind of man Cornelius was. The fact that he fell down at Peter's feet and worshipped him shows that he did not have a good understanding of the God of Israel. The Old Testament law was based on the premise of worshipping the Lord thy God and serving only him. By the same token, his action also shows his humility and hunger to hear from the man of God and the fervency with which he had been awaiting the arrival of Peter. That Cornelius was a sincere man was no doubt. and his sincerity and hunger had been noticed by God. Praise God. We're going to leave that right there and continue again tomorrow. God bless you.